Hi, my name is Amy Jankowicz, and today I'll be talking about informal assessments. I'm a first grade teacher, so a lot of these ideas will be coming from my classroom. Informal assessments allow for an educator to reflect on how their students are interacting with the content being taught throughout the school year. These may be more in the moment as well as more calculated, depending on the different type of informal assessment. This allows us to collect data to drive further instruction. This may be within a unit throughout the school year, and the ultimate goal is for us to show growth and the students to show growth. Assistive technology, as well as educational technology, can support our students in showing what they know, as well as specifically targeting different needs that students have and assisting them so that they can be successful. The first type of informal assessment that I will talk about today is an interview. Different uses may be found in reading conferences, so I'd be checking in for fluency, comprehension, and accuracy, interviewing students on their math strategies, as well as in writing to hear about where they got their different ideas from. Different types of assistive technology and educational technology include hearing aids so that students can hear the interview questions effectively, for speech to text software or word prediction software to help students who may have speech needs, as well as augmentative and alternative communication for students who may be nonverbal. Looking over at advantages and disadvantages, when we look at these different types of assistive technology, this really allows our students to communicate at a newer level than before. A disadvantage that you may see throughout these different bullet points would include their overall functionability within a classroom, different maintenance issues, and accuracy. Second type of informal assessment includes observation. I could observe my students for their reading behaviors, their math performance throughout different parts of a math lesson and their use of a math tool, in writing with their use of conventions, as well as their behavior, whether it be on-task behaviors, their pride choices within our school-wide behavioral plan, and antecedents to misbehaviors. Assistive technology and educational technology would include RAS Kids, which is an app, so I could physically hear students' voices as they record their reading. Manipulatives and toolbox tools would support students with their math strategies so that they too could be successful within this type of informal assessment. A virtual editing checklist would allow for students to make sure they have everything that they need to support them in being successful in a writing observation, as well as Class Dojo for them to auditorily or visually hear how they are doing and how their peers are doing throughout the day. The third type of informal assessment includes work samples. These are different types of samples that I would collect or my students would select throughout the year. So, writing, for example, would be student selected samples, and math would be open response problems where students discuss their strategies and their different methods in solving a problem. Types of assistive technology and educational technology include published samples to be uploaded to Seesaw, folder organizer for students so that they can set aside samples and not lose them, as well as open response problems to be converted into Seesaw activities so that students can record and use online math manipulatives to show how they got their problem. These different advantages of these different types of assistive technologies and educational tools really focus on having the students' work being saved in one place, being able to be accessed at a later date. And so that's really important when thinking of work samples. The fourth type would be a portfolio. I would use this in writing to look at quarterly pieces to see their growth and math unit exams. Types of assistive technology or educational technology include Seesaw for students to post specific pieces to be compared over time, an editing checklist, as mentioned earlier, so that students can produce satisfactory pieces to be put in their portfolio, as well as a program my district uses called Linkit that allows me to run different reports from their math exams to see their growth and skill areas as well. Different advantages, again, include a place for these pieces of data to be stored, as well as the data program Linkit to allow me to really dive deep into the data to see how my students are doing. Overall, I've learned that there are many different ways to assess student learning throughout the day, unit, or year. Assistive technology is out there that we can support our students within these informal assessments so that they can be as successful as possible. And educational technology allows me to collect data and allows different platforms for students to share their knowledge. Thanks for listening.